I figured it'd be kind of fun. Now, one of them, it kind of had to do with tablets. Well, I'm not saying this is the actual topic, but some, tablets killing the netbook sales. We've seen a trend where, I think initially when the iPad came out, and we've been seeing a decline in the netbooks, and I was wondering if there's other factors than just that. I always kind of wondered that. And there was an article came out probably a few days ago or something like that. Actually, it was on my iPhone. I get like news sent to my iPhone, and there's actually other factors that had to do with than just tablets or the iPad itself. Now, initially, I think they did grow in popularity, the netbooks, due to low cost and portability. I think that was the two biggest factors that really boosted sales. And I think netbooks got down around 300 or so-ish, more or less. And let me read through my show notes here. I got to write everything down. I forget everything. Now, I think there's some people have been saying right along the time that the iPad came in that there was other factors. Actually, some people say there was actually a decline in some of the netbook sales. It just happened that the iPad came out at the same time. And I think initially they did well, the sales of netbooks, but then I think came the realization that they are underpowered, and they can't run some of the larger software programs. Obviously you can't really edit video or things like that. When you get a netbook, I think you have to realize the limitations, and there were specific targets that you're going to be using it for. Tablet is nice, but you can get a tablet notebook. But yeah, I think you got to realize, each iPad has a specific target audience is trying to get. The netbook should also be a specific target for users. Now, some people have more than one. Obviously, they may have a laptop and then they decide to get a netbook for whatever reason. And I think the netbooks actually drove the laptop sales down because since they were lower in price. Now, I think right when the netbook come into play, most of the notebooks are around the $1,000 price range. I mean, yes, we do still have the same price range right now or even above, but I'm talking on average. And now they probably went down to about $500 is for an average, notebook. And anyway, as far as declining sales, after people got them, they realized, okay, they're underpowered, don't have much RAM in them, and often they put Linux on it. And a lot of people, expecting Windows, Vice Linux, evil people. No, not really. So. And I kind of find that a contradiction because, look at the iPad. iPad is low-powered. Doesn't have... Actually, I think it only has 256 megs of memory, if I'm not... I don't know if that's incorrect or not. Somebody might correct me on that. Now, supposedly, they have the iPad 2 coming out, but so some of that might change. And so it's actually very, low-powered. But yet it still sells very well. Now, I know it's really targeting different users and all that. Now, I have to admit the software has a lot to do with it because you try to throw a desktop operating system on a netbook, it's just not going to do the same than on a desktop or a laptop. So with the iPad or the tablet type operating system, perhaps has a lot to do with it. So if you choose the right type of software on the right type of tablet, then yes, you're going to see probably a boost in performance. And let me see. Now initially when the iPad came out, you even had people, whether it be Mac or PC users, they were like, oh no, it's not. It doesn't have Mac OS X, and this, that, and the other. And so we have some people along those lines. And I do have the Ubuntu Netbook Edition, and I also have the Acer Aspire One that I have the Netbook Edition on, and I just use that just for it's great for a portable computer if I need to check some websites, within limitations, obviously. And I think it's great for what it is. And so, people are expecting, a full Mac OS X on a tablet, the iPad, obviously. Okay, that was pretty much one of the topics I wanted to go through, because, I didn't think the iPad sale alone was enough to, account for the netbook sales. I wanted to see if there's other factors, and apparently there was. I happened to see that article come out. I guess it was earlier this week. Now, this other topic I came up with, it kind of sounds political, and I didn't mean to really do that, but it's because it has to do with social media. There was another article magazine that I happened to see that was kind of interesting because, people use social networking for different reasons, and you can. And this one kind of made me, think about it a little bit more. And this was, of course, you take a look. It's some of the news coming out. Obviously, it was big when Egypt, they had all the demonstrations and riots in Egypt. And supposedly, it was a big thing where they used Facebook and Twitter to, coordinate all this together. And actually, the name of the article is Facebook and Twitter Tools of Revolution. And like I said, it didn't really mean to sound political, but it just has to do with social networking and how it's used in this case. And let me read what I got in a little bit in the notes. Now, it's some people think that the whole, Facebook and Twitter was, responsible for the whole thing in Egypt. Like, without those social networking devices, that they couldn't, done what they done, and that's simply not true. Because, of course, revolutions happen, for thousands of years without having computers or whatever. But, and this is what I got written down. This is what I wrote down. Some social media played a key role. People just use the tools at hand and use whatever is available at the time. So, and as an example, of course, is when East Germans overthrew the government and tore down the Berlin Wall. I guess that's what it was. Even back then, most of them didn't even own phones or cell phones or computers or anything like that. So, and let me see what else I got down here. And another thing, it's not only used as far as the people who are demonstrating, but it actually can be used against them, because some of the governments, see, they can monitor, of course, Facebook and all these other social networking sites, and they, obviously it's a public site, so they can tell you, tell what's going on. In most cases, I suppose, they can use code words and things like that, but then often what they do is they'll read this and they'll actually put out false information themselves on these social networking sites and kind of use their same sites against them. So sometimes it's actually, I think now, didn't we? I'm trying to think. This is kind of a big thing recently where I don't know if China's been disallowing some sites. I don't know if they disallowed the internet totally or not. I don't know if anybody can add to that or not. I do know at one time they were certain websites they weren't allowing people to go to, and I can't remember. I heard something about they even took down the internet entirely. Now I don't think they're not really doing that now, but and now actually it was where was that? Tehran. No, Iran. That's where they used the social networking against the people that were trying to use it to coordinate the things like that. But yeah, I'm not. You know what? I'm not really totally against. I mean, I think it's a good thing in a way. But then that kind of makes you think. You know, what happened? What would happen if, you know, it was actually a pretty decent government and they were trying to revolt? I don't know, such as our own. I admit our government is not. You know, I don't think any government is going to be, you know, the 100% best out there. I mean, there's always going to be problems here or there. How you doing there, Lennox Lifer? I don't know if he's going to be able to stick with us or not. Looks like he was refreshing a little bit. But so that was some of the topics I wanted to go over.